Hello everyone and welcome back. So the lovely people over at Ohuhu decided to reach out and ask if they could send me some stuff to try out. So here it all is. We have some beautiful little gel pens in here. They are white, some silver and some gold. Then let's see what we got down the bottom here. There are some fine liners, and oh, look at all of the different sizes here. We've got everything from brushed and then super fine to thicker, so they will come in really handy. Then in here, I did sneakily just quickly open that one. This is like marker paper, but it's bound in this gorgeous book, so I can't wait to open that with you guys and check it out. Then in here we have the big one, so let's open this all up and see what we got in here. So they did ask me a few different things about sort of markers and things, and I let them know that I hadn't tried alcohol markers before but really wanted to. So what we got in here is the 120 set of the Ohuhu art markers, which are the alcohol markers. And from my understanding, they are going to be double-sided, so they should have two different sort of types of nibs that we can color with. And they come in, I had no idea that they came in this beautiful little carry bag, so that is awesome. So let's just have a look at everything. I just want to open up and check out these markers and to see what they look like. So here they are. They look amazing. So many colors. Only thing is, I think I'm gonna have to just change them around a little bit because I prefer to have sort of similar colors together, so we can do a bit of rearranging in a bit. But I just want to have a look. Ooh, what's this one? Ah, look at that. So this is like if you're coloring in anything that has something like another layer, like a coloring book or something, this can be put in between the pages so you don't get bleed through onto the other page. Now, being alcohol markers, these will bleed through like the paper, but yeah. So these are sort of what they look like. So they are double-sided. So we got one broad side like this, and then we have here, I think that would be, so this is, so look at that, you get on the little number there, you can see sort of, yeah, that was a blue-green, so this is like the brush tip there. So this is looking really cool, and I am super excited to try them all out. Ooh, I just spotted there is a colorless blender as well. I was hoping there would be something like that in there, so that should be really cool to blend some colors with and see how it works. So I'm crazy excited to just try these out. As I said, this will be the first time for me trying alcohol markers, and I'm really excited about that. So let's just pack this away for now and let's have a look at all of the other things that we've got. Now, so this book, so I haven't opened it yet, but what I understood is that we have, oh, hang on, we got another one of those. That's great. So that fits that book perfectly, actually. So it's one of those, again, it's sort of made like a, I don't know, it's thick, it's not thin, that little sheet to put in between, so it feels really nice. We've got perforation here, so all of the pages here are perforated, so you can rip them out. And what I'm planning actually on doing today, once we got all of this stuff, is I'm going to rip one out and I'm going to color a page from Small Victories, and I'm just going to go ahead and copy it onto this. So here there's 78 sheets of this, and it is 120 pounds or 200 grams, this paper, so it's actually really nice and thick. So you just use this one and just going back here now, and you'll put it down like this, and then you can go ahead and color over the top if you want to, if you're doing your own drawings and things, you can do that. So let's just have a quick look at these little gel pens. I want to see if there's any different sizes or if they're all the same size. So we have quite a few white ones here, which is great because you guys know me, I use a whole lot of white ones. That is a 08. So that will be like the one I've used, the same size that I've used for other gel pens. That one's also 08 and 08. I think they're probably all 08s by the looks of this. So that's all the white ones. So we've got 6 white ones and then 3 each of the silver and gold. So that will be really cool to test out. And I feel like I'm saying cool all the time, but you'll just have to bear with me. So we'll use that for maybe some highlights and stuff today. Alright, next up are the little fine liners, the little drawing pens. So let's just try to open up these, and as I showed you on the front there, it looks like they got lots of different sizes and everything, plus a brush pen too, so that's going to be fantastic, and it's going to have so much different use for that. So let's have a look at each of them and just see what the nibs look like. So that's the brush pen there. And I'll just go through all of them and we'll just see what they all. So this is the tiniest one. This is small, 0.05. So this should be like super fine. Look at that. That is tiny. I hope it actually shows up on camera. But it is really good. So let's see what's the next. Oh, come on, get out of there. Next one up is, let's see, that is the 01. And so it's a little bit bigger. Still a really fine though, and it's going to make for some really beautiful fine lines. Alright, let's put that one away and keep looking. So we've got next one up would be the, let's see, 0.2, and we'll just have another look, and this would probably be, I reckon, sort of the 02 and the 03 are the ones I've used before, if I've done any sort of kind of drawing by myself. I don't do it very often, but every now and again I like to do a little bit of doodling. So let's just have a look here. So they're getting a little bit thicker now. This is sort of the size that, as I said, that I prefer. But I'm really excited to try out some of those other ones. Maybe for some like little details and things, those thinner ones. This is the 04. I'm getting a bit bigger, a bit thicker now. And then we have this one here, which is, let me have a look, 07. So sorry, I think the other one was the 05, not a 04. So this is the 07. It's pretty thick. And then we got the last one, which is the 1. And that one is like, that's like almost like a marker kind of thing, the tip of it. So it's nice and thick. So you can do, if you're doing bigger pictures or want to add in some shadows and things like that, and want some thicker lines, you can use that. Let me just straighten that up. There we go. And we'll put that away. I'm not sure if I'll use those today, but we're definitely going to be using the markers and the gel pens. So I'm going to go ahead and just rearrange these ones a little bit. I'm not going too crazy just because they don't have individual spots. From what I can see, there are 4 different compartments inside here. So I'm just going to try to have sort of my lighter colors up on the top left there, and then sort of the warmer colors on the left hand side and the cooler colors on the right hand side. So that is my plan. So I'm just sort of going ahead and just juggling them around a little bit. this is starting to come together. I've got a bit of a system happening here now. At least I know where to find the different colors. It's not completely perfect, but it's a little bit more systematic at least. So I'm just gonna go ahead and get my book out, and then we're gonna go and print. So I told you that these ones are perforated, so I'm just gonna rip out a page of this, and I'm gonna bring my Small Victory book, and then by Johanna Basford, and I'm gonna go ahead and print. So I want to do the little cupcakes page, so this one here, and I'm gonna do the one with the berries and the one with the little hearts. So this, wish me luck, I have never done this before. So I want to do them like a little sort of chocolate ones. I'm trying not to go into sort of too hard. I want to make sure I still have a little bit of sort of highlighty areas. Now I completely forgot to show the first 3 colors that I used. I'm trying to remember which ones they were. I think it was like potato brown and mahogany, and I think it was the salmon pink that I used for the cupcakes. Yeah, this one here I think is the mahogany that I did, and then I used the salmon pink for the lightest part. So I have watched sort of other people use markers before. I follow a few people who do like fashion illustrations and things like that, and quite often I see them use markers and then finish off afterwards with some colored pencils. So I was thinking that that might be what I'm gonna do today. So now what I understand is that these will sort of blend together because they're alcohol. So when you go over with a lighter one, I think if I've got it right, it should blend out a little bit. So hopefully, hopefully that is correct, but we'll find out soon enough. My plan is to do like a pink frosting on top. So I'm going to go in with a powder pink. I did sort of test this out. I have an extra sheet of paper just on the side, and I'm just checking out the colors just to make sure, because being markers, I'm just scared of going in too dark too soon. And I have very little control sort of when it comes to, obviously with colored pencils, I've got the control of using pressure. I don't have that now, so I just need to be crazy careful. And I'm petrified of this because this is so out of my comfort zone, but I'm hoping we can make it really cool, and that I found another little medium that I can love and enjoy to use. I can definitely see that the whole blending with like a lighter color is definitely working here. I can see that it's lightening down those dark areas underneath, which is really good. So you can see it's more of a gradient there now than what it was before. So I'll just keep doing different little layers here, and I'll just play around a bit and we'll see what happens. Now, if you are used to working with markers, please feel free to give me some tips here. I'm not sure if I maybe didn't go over enough with this little blender, the colorless blender there, and maybe I should have done a little bit more, because I feel like those darker areas on the pink there didn't blend as well as I was hoping. But that is probably just down to me not knowing really how to use these. I don't think that's any fault of the markers at all. So please give me some tips if you have them, if you're used to using these markers, and let me know what your tricks are. So again here, I'm going to leave more, sorry, I'm just bumping the camera. I'm just going to leave some more white spaces than what I would usually do with my colored pencils. So I'm just going to go in like super gentle here, but just making sure I've got some white, or not white, but even white and light blue areas there, just so we've got a bit of shine to these little blueberries. And let's just hope so I'm leaving a little bit of an edge there so we can have that contrast to the one at the back. And I think actually I think that works out pretty well. So let's just go ahead and do some stuff down on the little cupcake casing. I think I want to go in with like the grey tones, and I'm thinking I might do like a shiny white area like in the center, so that it looks like it might be like a silver foil kind of casing. We'll see how that works. So I'm just going over it because I have noticed that if I go over a few times with the same color, it does darken up things and then leave a few areas a little bit lighter. So I feel like it feels so strange sort of working this sort of, I don't know, sloppy, just sort of splashing things on here and there. But I think that's sort of what I keep seeing though, that other people do. Like they kind of just drag it up and then just make sure that they leave a few white areas. So I'm just going to do that, and I will, as I said, I will go in with some colored pencils just at the end, just for some little bit more controlled shading. I'm not confident enough to do this whole thing just in markers, but seriously, the speed I feel like I'm progressing at now is so much faster than if I was just using colored pencils. Like I've got so much color down already, and it's definitely like if you have that option of printing things like, you know, Johanna Basford books that are printed on both sides of the paper, like obviously you can't really use alcohol markers there unless you want to lose the second page. So if you have these sort of papers like the marker paper and you can copy, then this is definitely a great way to do that. So I think that was a really good idea with that book, that Ohuhu has made it so that you can rip the pages out. And because the book is beautiful, but just the fact that you can utilize the paper in more than one way, I think that's a really, really good thinking on their part there. I just want to add a little bit more green to the little leaves there, and then I'm going to go ahead and start with those little white gel pens. I just want to see how they work for a little bit of highlight sort of here and there. Actually, this one works really well. It's not too... I do like with the alcohol markers that it does sort of blend in a little bit, so it does, yeah. You don't get necessarily crazy harsh lines. Alright, so let's see here, we can put some little highlighted dots on this little raspberry here. So I decided to make it a raspberry just to have a different colored from the blueberries, because if I did blackberries I felt like it was going to be two really dark things. Alright, so we're going to go in and we're going to do the second one. I'm going to do a lighter sort of coloured icing or frosting or whatever you want to call it, buttercream. And I want to do some really nice sort of bright red little hearts and things, I think, for this one. Now remember, as I said, if you haven't used these before, just make sure you have a little scrap piece of paper next to you just to test out the colors. I didn't I just really wanted to get started with colouring, so I didn't do a swatch chart like completely. I will do that eventually, I think, and just so I have each colour sort of down with the number and all of that. But today I just wanted to get started with the colouring, so just make sure that I test each little marker before I start colouring with it. And I did have a couple of times where they were more sort of fluoro when I first started with them than what they looked on the swatch. So just make sure that you test them out. The colours are great, but if you just, you know, put down a colour that you think is going to be really light and then it's actually like really, really fluoro, then you might not like that. So just, yeah, make sure that you just test them out first. Now, little hindsight regret, I should have gone ahead and sticky taped this page down because it was going all over the place and I kept pulling it out of the view of the camera. So apologies about that. Bit of hindsight. Tape your page down. So I think I'm sort of getting to a point now, I think, where I'm going to need to go in with some colored pencils, and I'm gonna go and I'm gonna add a couple. I just want to add a few more sort of sprinkly things just on top there, and then we're gonna go in with some colored pencils and get some shading and just some little extra details that are happening. So I'm just going to use my Faber-Castell Polychromos. So for the icing for this one that we've just been working on now, I'm just going to do some cinnamon to start with, just because it fits really well. It was like nearly a perfect match there for the color. So I'm just sort of going in and just darkening up a little bit, just create a little bit more shape to the icing there. I just want to make sure that it looks like it's actually curving around and that we get a good amount of sort of movement and everything on this page. Now the last pencil I'm going to go in with is the Warm Grey 6, and I'm literally just going to go in and darken up a couple of areas, just make sure that we have a bit of shading so that it looks like it doesn't look flat, and we just make sure that we get a bit of depth happening here. And I'm using a medium that I've worked with many times before. So I'm just going to finish off with a couple of little spots of highlight, sort of mainly on the little sprinkles and things that we got there. And then I think we're pretty much done. So first of all, thank you so much to Ohuhu for sending me all of these amazing art supplies. It was completely overwhelming how much stuff you sent, and I'm so grateful, so thank you. And thank you guys all for following along, if you followed, or just for watching with me today. I really appreciate you being here. So I hope you had fun watching me try out some new art supplies, so some new mediums that I haven't used before. And yeah, hopefully you got some new tricks or tips that you can give me, and if you used this before, and I'm looking forward to reading all your comments. So have a colourful day, and I will see you again next time.